Hi Aries, welcome to your March 2020 love reading. It's Raina here. Normally I do these earlier, but I came down with the flu at the end of last week of February, and this has been the first day that I felt well enough to resume doing readings. So just to let you know, and I'm using the Ethereal Visions tarot deck. I like to show the back of this. It's a matte deck, and good card stock. I think that they're well suited for tarot reading. I mean, for love readings, because it's got that kind of romantic design, but very faithful to the Rider-Waite deck. So I had to start over again. I'm hoping that this recording will go through. The heart of the matter is the King of Pentacles. If you're single, somebody can come into your life who is very established and gives you a sense of safety, security. Usually, Aries people are not looking for a father figure or someone who is paternalistic, whatever you want to call it, because you are, I'm talking about specifically for women, you tend to be aggressive yourself, so you're not typically the passive type of a female. But nevertheless, if you have been dealing with a lot of chaos with relationships, this can be a welcome breath of fresh air. This person might be a literal earth sign, so Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. If I had to place bets, I would say Capricorn, because both Capricorn and Aries are cardinal signs, and therefore, even though earth and fire in terms of elements combining are like fish, on bicycles, because they're just so, that's a mixed metaphor, but, in any case, it's just that they're very, very different in their outlook and their goals. Doesn't mean that they're impossible to come together and form a relationship. I knew somebody like that. But I'm just saying in terms of how elements go. But there's, when you have something that is very much in tune, that can make up for a lot that is quite different. And ambition, success, and just being doers are things that Aries and Capricorn have in common. And that is a lot, because when you're that type of person, you can become easily frustrated when you're with somebody who's more passive, who is just like chill, and they don't want to really even do physical things. You're more likely to have that affinity with a Capricorn type of person. They may be up for anything that you're into in that regard. So something like that, you may, like I don't know if I said this, but because since I've done this over again, but it could be your boss, because King implies that this person has paid their dues. Maybe they've built, their empire, if you will. But in any case, they are financially solvent and accomplished, and they have that kind of aura of stability in your life. Now, I was talking about if you're single, if you're with this person, that can be a double-edged sword, because I'm talking about somebody who is meeting them, who's coming from, who's single now and coming from this, maybe a lot of flaky relationships. This may feel like the real deal and very solid, and you may end up, but see, that's the thing. I don't call myself a fortune teller. I would never want to be one, because that conveys the wrong message about what life is about, which is that I don't believe that life is predetermined. But having said that, I do believe that synchronicity exists. In other words, if I'm pulling these cards and they sound like something you're going through, then I believe that it's just reflecting back to you what you're dealing with. And I don't think that's the same thing as fortune telling. I think that I'm just kind of tapping into, and this isn't going to be for everyone, obviously. I'm tapping into certain people's experiences. And I find that very cool. But in any case, I feel that one of the reasons why it's not important for somebody to predict the future, besides the fact that, life is to me, we have the free will, so it's kind of a blank slate. There might be some predetermined things along the way, but I feel that even those, we have determined them earlier on than this lifetime. Even if I tell you that you're going to attract a man like the King of Pentacles, what does it say after that? Somebody can tell you you're going to meet the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams, but then how are you going to relate to that person? Do you have a history of pushing people away? Do you have a history of not treating people well, or of being too accommodating and not, honoring yourself enough? So it's not just about a prediction. It's about your ability to function at the optimal level in life in general, that I feel is the determining factor of, something good happening versus not so much. So that's where I'm coming from in all of this. So the King of Pentacles can indicate that this person is a very solid person. But if you're involved with this person, if you are coupled and you're feeling like the relationship isn't going well, it's probably because this person is regarding you as more of the child. You see, there's like that. It's funny because I'm going to talk about this past position, and this is Wands and you are Wands, Page of Wands. Now, Page of Wands, they have here a female. I don't know, in another deck I have, they say Daughter of Wands. But Page is a child, okay? Wands is fire. And this is the king, this is the parent-child relationship. So it's possible that if you are involved with somebody, that you have gotten into a situation where they regard themselves as the adult in the room, and you're like the capricious child who does things very, we could say spontaneously, but actually what's the challenging side of spontaneity? Probably, what's that word? Being rash, being too willing to just throw out any kind of like caution, and throwing caution to the wind and things like that. And the problem is that they may be right, because fire energy is very spontaneous, and Aries is very rebellious, and you're wild. Fire is wild, okay, because fire can't be contained. It's very expansive, but expansion sometimes can expansion is growth, but you can have controlled growth and you can have wild growth. And Aries wants to be wild because you want to run the show. So what can start out as something that makes you feel safe can make you feel very trapped. And the higher message is the Five of Swords, which can be like, see the swords that the person has, and the person is not happy about having all the swords, and you see the people in the background. This is a slightly different image than Rider-Waite, which doesn't have all the swords next to the person, but they're near him. But it's to imply that you can win the battle and lose the war. Now, Aries always is about the battle because you're a warrior. And sometimes, and Aries is very competitive. So one of the scenarios that could be playing out here is if you, if there was a third-party situation, for instance, you may feel the sense of like, you know, I won the battle, I got the person, I bested the other person, but I lost the war because now I have to deal with this person who is treating me like I'm a child and not treating me like a full adult. Another scenario is that this is like the Page of Wands to me can even be an affair, and if you are, or maybe it's like not like a physical affair, although it can be because fire is very sensual, and I mean it's hot, you know, hot. And with Page, it's kind of like this thing that just flares up, you know, all of a sudden. Oh, jeez. I was looking for that train, and it just seems like there's, I don't know if there's another one coming in another direction. Sorry about that. But, you know, the thing, you know, it's hard to say sometimes with this because obviously there could be various scenarios that fit. That's one of the reasons I like doing the tarot on YouTube, because it can really speak to many people's situations at once. You know, it's open-ended enough to do so. But with the Page of Wands can be like meeting somebody that's like a breath of fresh air that kind of gets you out of this doldrums of someone who may be a great provider, might be the father of your children, who knows? King can be the father. Maybe a good person, but you just don't have that passion there. And you realize that that was lacking and that is important to you. Maybe you're blinded by the fact that this person was financially successful. Not that you're a gold digger, but just that idea of, you know, wow, you know, this person's really has a lot of success and things like that. And you realize that wasn't enough. But the point is that the Five of Swords can be like, this is a spiritual question. Are you willing to lose the battle, win the war and lose the battle? I mean, see, I'm a little spacey because of the flu. Lose the battle, win the battle, lose the war. Okay, oh gosh. And meaning that you gain something, but you lose a whole lot more. And one thing with your sign is that daredevil quality. So you have to determine whether or not you are truly in a place, like I'm talking about if you're in a relationship, if it's worth it. If you're single, the Five of Swords can still be a cautionary question, because if this person is your boss, or some other type of relationship that maybe they are involved with somebody else, is it worth it? Because you think you might win and be able to prove your superiority, your desirability. It's quite a question, conundrum. What crosses you is the Four of Swords. If you are single, you may be there might be like a King of Pentacles type of person around you, and you may have even talked to them. Page can be messages going back and forth. But perhaps you haven't, really. I was, for some reason, when I said messages, I said, in my mind, it said internet. So I don't know if that's for somebody. And maybe you haven't really gotten to deal with them in a very one-on-one sort of way. It might have been, you met at a party or just here and there. And the Four of Swords may have you in kind of that hermit mode, and that's keeping you from being able to do this. This is especially true if you are an Aries who has a moon in a water sign, a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, but especially with Pisces or Cancer, where your sensitivity causes you to kind of hole up and keep to yourself. Or if you are, or if you have an inner planet in Scorpio, in Pisces, Venus, Mars, or Mercury, where you are, super sensitive to rejection, and you really are introverted. That's another piece of this, is being introverted. And because not all Aries, or if you have the sun in the 12th house, or the 8th house maybe, this will make you, or the moon, make you much more introspective. And with the Four of Swords, it's a card of kind of renewal and taking, reflection, almost like the Hermit card of the Minor Arcana. But that may be a defense mechanism if you've come from a bad relationship in the past and you're kind of in this habit, and this person may be around you and you're just kind of a little bit adverse to actually getting to know them. If you're already involved with this person, the Four of Swords in the challenge position may simply be that you are not really reflecting. You may be acting but not reflecting, and perhaps you need to slow down and see exactly what you're doing and think about what you're doing or about to do. What's coming in is the Two of Wands, which is perfect for this scenario because twos can indicate decisions that have to be made. With the Two of Wands, we're talking about something that is very, to me, personal to your life and what you are about. In other words, it's about you wanting your life to be about something, exciting and passionate. Or choosing, being at a crossroads in that sense. Like I said, I got the Page of Wands. Now we're talking about the Two of Wands. And this is involving another person. So that means that in some cases it can be if you have met a new person, and perhaps that new person is a fire sign, which will definitely light your fire because you're going to have a lot in common in that way. about this idea of just being excited about life. So we're talking about a fellow Aries, a Leo, Sagittarius. It can be like if you're somebody involved with that King of Pentacles, that you're not sure if you should stay with somebody that is, solid and reliable, but perhaps doesn't see you as their equal. Maybe they have this bit of a superiority complex, that you are like this child that has to be chastised or, kept in line. And a fire sign is going to be a co-conspirator in this game called life, is going to be much more of an adventurer. And Aries is always up for an adventure. The thing is that you could be risking it all. So you have to really think clearly. That's what I'm saying about the Four of Swords. You have to really ponder what you're going to do. And it's about, and if there is like a person around you that sounds like the King of Pentacles, like I described, your decision may have to be whether or not this person is truly for you. If this is the kind of person you want in your life, perhaps that person is, really impressive, but it's not quite right for you and what you're about. So just because somebody is nice or they are successful or handsome or beautiful doesn't make them right for you. And so it's one of those kinds of crossroad situations. Oh, it's so funny. This is a card that is not part of the regular. Oh my gosh. This is the outcome is the Well. I might what I might do is pick another card, because I can't remember. I think this had to do with earth energy. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I got that card before. And so I'm going to definitely pick another card. As I recall, because there's in this particular deck, there are 2 additional cards that are not in the Rider-Waite deck, but because I misplaced the booklet, I forgot that I had to remember each additional card. And to be honest with you, I did look it up because I had a private reading where it came up. There's another card called the Artist, and then there's one called the Well. And I actually think that the Well it's connected to Gaia, which is the earth. And from what so to me, that would mean that you're going to choose the King of Pentacles. That you're, so in other words, maybe you get your head turned, but you choose the person that either you are currently connected to in a relationship, or, it could be the other way around. The Page of Wands may be a relationship with an immature fire sign, and you've met this King of Pentacles, so it can go both ways. But I am going to pick an additional card. I'm just taking this one off the top. Oh, thank goodness it wasn't, we got Page of Pentacles. There you go. So I was going to say, thank God it wasn't the Artist. So the Page of Pentacles, again, Page. So Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles can mean a new relationship with an earth sign. So that sounds like it's it's actually like agreeing with the the well. And I want to say that if you're currently involved with King of Pentacles, it would be maybe having, a new situation with this person. If you feel like you're in a dynamic that you don't like with a person who happens to be an earth sign, perhaps you can have come to some kind of understanding. But of course, that involves both parties being willing to talk about it and to change their ways. So I hope that you enjoyed this, Aries. If you like this style of reading and you'd like a personal reading, like love readings, for instance, or a natal chart interpretation, most of my readings are astrology based. I use the tarot because it's a very popular format, and it's good for promotional purposes. But I am more of an astrologer, and that's where I do a lot of my work. So you can check me out at rainamoonastrology.com. The link is below. Take care. Bye.